Hello there, Mets fans, and welcome to this channel called Behind the Bag. This is a channel for newer Mets fans and older Mets fans. We're going to talk about all things on this channel: current team, past teams, great players the Mets have had, currently great players the Mets have. So this channel is really going to have something for everyone. What I want to talk to everyone tonight about is a little bit about not only the Braves-Mets series that starts tonight. Yeah, it's important. What are you saying? It's important. Of course it's important. The season's on the line here. What I want to tell you is the Mets are a team that will lose most of the time. Now, I'm not being a downer about this team, but history has shown that. Okay? Let me just read some statistics for you. So, the Mets have been in existence since 1962. 60 seasons. The Mets have only had a winning percentage above 500 27 of those seasons. Okay? So, 27 of the 60 seasons, less than half of the seasons, they finished above 500. Okay, including this year where they're well over a 600 percentage. But to put that in perspective, let's compare that to their crosstown rivals. Okay, I don't want to talk about their rivals, the Yankees, much on this channel, but it's good to put it in a bit of perspective. So the Mets have had 27 winning seasons in their 60-year career. The Yankees have won 27 World Series. We all know that. But in the same amount of time, so if you go back to 1962, the Yankees have had 51 seasons where they finished above 500 compared to the Mets' 27. Okay? The Yankees have not finished below 500 since 1992. 30 years. So that means that there is a whole generation of Yankee fans who have never seen a losing season. Now, why do I tell you that? I tell you that because anyone can be a Yankee fan. Anyone. But being a Mets fan requires tenacity. It requires dedication. It is going to be disappointing to be a Mets fan. Okay? I've been a Mets fan for over 45 years. And trust me, I have been disappointed many, many times. But what I'm going to tell you is there is no greater joy in being a Mets fan. So while this series with Atlanta is really important and we want the Mets to win, we want them to win the division, let's just take a couple of moments here and think about what we've seen this year and appreciate what we've seen this year. We have two of the best hitters in the major leagues on our team. Okay? Pete Alonso is having a career season. I understand he gets overshadowed in New York sometimes by Aaron Judge, who's having a spectacular season. But Pete Alonso has driven in over 130 runs this season. His counterpart in New York has hit 20 more home runs and has driven in fewer runs than Pete Alonso. Francisco Lindor, we'll talk about Francisco Alvarez a little bit later. Francisco Lindor, last year, his first year with the Mets, not a great season. It was very difficult. There were lots of issues. This guy has turned it around and he is having a fantastic season. He's driven over 100 runs himself. We have to appreciate how great these players are that we're watching. Let's go on. We have a consistent 300 hitter on our team in Jeff McNeil. Last year, he hit 251. It's the only season in his career that he has hit under 300. He's currently hitting like 315, 320. This is an incredible hitter to watch. He has tremendous bat skills. He's a clutch hitter. We have to enjoy this guy being on our team. We brought these two guys in, Canha and Marte. How clutch have each of these players been? I have to admit, I didn't know much about either of them, maybe a little more about Marte, but both of them have been consistent players throughout the year, coming up with clutch hits, clutch home runs. How many clutch home runs has Starling Marte hit this year? Mark Canha had that game against Philadelphia where he put the team on his back, hitting 2 home runs to win that game. Unbelievable. We have to enjoy that. And kudos to the front office for bringing these two guys in. We have we have the 2 best pitchers in baseball. Max Scherzer, definite Hall of Famer. Jacob deGrom, you're going to make your argument that he is a Hall of Famer as well. Every time these 2 pitchers take the mound, it's a pitching clinic. Now, I know you're going to say, oh, they haven't been healthy. More of a reason to enjoy them when they step on the mound. 2 fantastic Hall of Fame pitchers who don't just throw the ball. They know how to pitch. Enjoy watching this. I remember in the 80s when the Mets had Dwight Gooden, every time he took the mound in 1984, the season he went 24-4 with a 1.53 ERA. Every time he took the mound, it was an event in New York City. It was must-see TV, and every time that season, he put on a pitching clinic. So what I would say to everyone is enjoy every time you get to watch deGrom or Scherzer take the mound. And especially because they've had their injuries, you never know when time is going to run out on them. Enjoy. Now, those 2 are great pitchers. Chris Bassett, we haven't had a number 3 starter, I think, like Chris Bassett in years. Probably not since Ron Darling in the mid-'80s. He's been consistent. It's amazing. You watch him pitch after seeing deGrom and Scherzer, and they're throwing 95 and in case of deGrom, 102 miles an hour. And Bassett comes in with these looping curveballs. He is just amazing to watch. He's been a fantastic pickup. He's been a great team player. Enjoy it. We have a really, really good third starter. And who can forget Diaz? Diaz and the Trumpets. I personally think the Trumpets are like his, the thing that makes him a great pitcher. Well, maybe I shouldn't say that. He does have this 100+ mile an hour fastball and a wipeout slider. Okay? But what's amazing about Edwin Diaz and the season that he's having? If you remember, just a couple of years ago, we wanted to run him out of town. Remember how many home runs he gave up? Right? Every time he came in the game, you would groan, oh, Diaz, he's going to blow this game. In New York City, when the fans had turned against him, he kept going out there, and now he has had a season of redemption. Now we are dying for him to come back and come into the game. And the Trumpets are like a triumphant entrance for this incredible, incredible pitcher. He is having an unbelievable season. Now, Do we forget the Mets pitched a combined no-hitter earlier this season? Look at these guys who put this together. McGill, Drew Smith, Joely Rodriguez, who I even like Joely Rodriguez. Seth Lugo, who hasn't been having that great a year, but when he has to, he comes up clutch. And of course, Diaz. A combined no-hitter. We know we have had one other no-hitter in our team's history. And if you remember, Carlos Beltran, his line drive in that game down the left field line hit the chalk. In the era of replay, that would have been a double. Okay? So maybe this is controversial. Maybe this is, sacrilegious. But actually, this game is really the only no-hitter the Mets have had, in my opinion. Let's think about Brandon Nimmo. How can't you love this player? This was the most incredible catch I have seen since Endy Chavez in 2006 in the playoffs. And the reason I say this was an incredible catch, sure, other players have gone above the wall to make catches and rob home runs. This was done in a clutch situation, much like Endy Chavez did in the playoffs. This was an unbelievable catch in a tight game against the hated Dodgers. This man has brought so much heart and soul and passion to this team. It's incredible. We love this guy. And then when you think that there cannot be any more feel-good stories on this team, here comes Eduardo Escobar. Do we remember what Eduardo Escobar did at the beginning of the season? He left runners on base. He struck out in key situations. He was awful at the plate. In the past month, Eduardo Escobar has become Mr. September. Clutch hit after clutch hit after clutch hit. The most amazing thing about this is, again, the players stuck with this guy. They all stuck together. And even when he was having bad games, you have to give him tremendous credit. He always had a smile on his face, and you could tell he was great in the locker room. This guy is just another great, great story on this team. So, what I want to tell you is, enjoy this team. There are so many great stories on this team. There are so many great plays that have happened this season. Enjoy this season. When I'm taping this, they have already won 98 games. More than likely, they will win 100 games. They are going to the playoffs. Enjoy the team. Enjoy the season. I tell you, do not despair, even if we lose all of these games to the Atlanta Braves. Even if we don't win the division, sure, it'll be disappointing. Don't worry. I've been disappointed every season except for maybe 27 of those seasons. You gotta believe this is a team that does miraculous things behind the bag. And I will leave you with this. Let's go Mets.